Okay, dude, I know not many people have built a 6 foot tall, Terminator replica for less than $100, but you really got to give me more. I'm not really getting emotion from you, and I know you can't really move your face, because you're an inanimate object. But oh, hey, didn't notice you there. Thanks for tuning in. Maybe now you can see that I have other things that I'm working on that are not necessarily Ghostbuster car related. If you want to see how I built this fella, stick around. Here's the video. This is an intro. All right, this is how this guy started out. I bought a life-size skeleton Halloween decoration off Amazon that was about 70% off after Halloween, and he pretty much spent a couple of months at my kitchen table like this. Goodwill is where it's at. So the majority of this guy came from here. What I decided to do was take that skeleton that was already pretty much articulated and built, so I didn't have to create a human-shaped thing, and I do what I normally do when I'm building spaceships or guns or whatever. I go to the Goodwill toy section and find things that have texture. So Nerf guns are really what I'm going for. I think I bought about 17 Nerf guns and just kind of took them apart. If you look, these Nerf guns have this like machined robotic texture, so when you take these things apart, you can kind of see what they're going to look like before you put them together. So I took all these Nerf guns home and kind of stripped them and used my drill, these 1-inch drywall screws, my rotary tool that's Adam Savage approved, and I just kind of went to town. The first thing I did was sort of cut apart the chest of this skeleton. His arms were just too close to, his shoulders weren't broad enough. So I chopped him up and I started extending his body parts. So the first thing I did was I made his shoulders a lot more broad. And one thing you notice when you're taking these Nerf guns apart and using them to build this robot, you want symmetry. So you want pieces of guns that look the same on the left and right, so the robot looks symmetrical. So I spent a couple of days just stripping Nerf guns, and you can see here's the result of just, sticking things where they look like they belong. This isn't just Nerf guns, these are like vehicles, helicopter toys, different little things. The skull was the hardest part though. I found this Little Tikes camper that had some fake rivets and whatnot on it, so I started tearing that camper apart and just putting random odds and ends on the skull, covering every inch of the skull to where it didn't really look like that skeleton anymore. That was the key, just taking enough little pieces and putting them all over this thing to where it looked, one, like I said, symmetrical, but then also just robotic. So there's all kinds of things here: Hot Wheels tracks, Nerf guns, Super Soakers, toy helicopters, tanks, that Little Tikes thing on the skull. And then I just kept adding things to that skull and the rest of the body until it was, ready to go. The first thing I did, well, I only did 2 things with the paint. I covered this thing in about 4 coats of this glossy black. So I did, and this thing is impossible to paint. It has so many little crevices and little divots all over itself. So it took me days to get this just completely covered in paint. Just look at all the little inserts and all the things you gotta cover here. So coat after coat after coat, and this has been really cold weather here in Georgia, I think 20-30 degrees, so you got to just do this in spurts because this gloss paint will just run off of this thing like water. So this is probably the 4th day of painting. After all the black, it's ready to go silver. So I did 4 or 5 coats of that black gloss, and I used less than half a can of this silver on the entire puppet. So just tiny little spurts of silver to just give it that metallic sheen. That gloss really makes the metallic sheen pop. So So it's ready for the eyes now. So the eyes, what I did was I took some discounted Christmas lights that were like $1 at Walmart after Christmas, and I took little Dixie cup shot glasses and I made eye sockets. And yeah, I kind of cheaped out with Gorilla Tape here. And I went, for the red lenses, I went the same route as Ghostbuster proton pack lights. So they really give you that reflective kind of look that you get from like car tail lights. So I built a harness out of some junk that you can mount the top half of this robot on and make it look like he's walking forwards, backwards, sideways, whatever. So, you know, had to use my 6-year-old to test it out. All right, go. So we've been calling this dude Bob. Bob's ready to go. This is him packed up in my wife's Corolla that I've been driving, and he's off to high school where everyone kind of gave me looks. So yeah, this is what I do in my free time. This guy's been sitting at my kitchen table for about 2 months, and my wife's really excited that I finally took it to work with me. But yeah, he's fully articulate. He's like a big 6-foot tall action figure. And hopefully he makes it through the end of the production of this student film we're doing, which I will post a link to on here when we finish it. But as always, thanks for watching, and like and subscribe if you want to see more weird crap that I make at home. So